Hi, this is David Armstrong, the Executive Producer and Artistic Director at the Fifth Avenue Theater, here with another edition of our Musical Theater Factory blog. And today I have with us Brandon Ivie, who is a real Fifth Avenue success story. He is not only the Associate Director of our current musical Saving Amy, which will open very shortly, he's also going to be the director of our upcoming production of Cinderella. But I'll let Brandon tell us a little bit about how his long experience with the Fifth Avenue, and it's one of the things we do here is we are very, very interested in nurturing new talent, and especially nurturing talent from the Northwest, and Brandon is in many ways the epitome of that. So Brandon, what was your first experience with the Fifth Avenue?
Well, my first experience with the Fifth Avenue was seeing Me and My Gal when I was, I think, like 12 or 13, and that was my first real big giant musical. I remember I sat up in the balcony, and I remember so specifically the scene. I still have stuff from the show that I remember really specifically, and that was sort of my first experience loving a big giant musical.
So you grew up here in the area?
Yeah, I grew up in Bellevue, went to Newport High School, and that is how I originally got involved with the Fifth, is through the Fifth Avenue Awards. My senior year was the first year of the awards, and I produced a show at my high school because we weren't doing a musical, and
you were not happy about that.
I was not pleased. And so, you know, I was...
I'm sure you were the student that the administration just loved that year.
Well, I don't know if my drama teacher loved me, but... and so I produced a show. And
you badgered them into producing a musical, basically.
Essentially.
Yes.
And we did it, and it went really well, and it won me an award, it won the actress in the show an award, and that got me my first job at the Fifth Avenue. I was a production assistant on the Rocky Horror Show, which you directed, and that was my first intro into...
And this was just right out of high school?
This was in between senior year of high school and freshman year of college. And so that was my first time working with the Fifth. And then throughout college, I was a PA on another show, and I assistant directed a couple shows.
And you went to the University of Washington,
I went
so
to
you
UW,
were close by.
I stayed here, and was able to continue my relationship here. And then my senior year, I interned in the artistic department with Bill Berry, the producing director. And that was great, and I got a taste of casting and a taste of sort of the artistic producing side of it. And then when I graduated, I quickly interviewed to be your executive assistant. And then a couple months after graduating, I became David's assistant. And then I think a year and a half later, I got promoted to the casting associate and artistic project manager. And then I was here and assistant directed some shows and directed 2 AMT productions.
That's our adventure musical theater company that goes out and tours to the schools.
And then I actually left. I had
you turned your back on the Fifth Avenue at one point.
At one point,
and went off to New York.
I went off to New York.
Tell us a little bit about that. And what did you do? And what took you to New York?
Well, I went in February, and I went to work on the Broadway production of Catch Me If You Can. I was a dramaturg and a script consultant for the Broadway production, which had a lot of changes incorporated since it premiered here at the Fifth. So I went and did that, and spent the spring and summer in New York.
And that was really your second Broadway venture, because while you were here, we gave you a leave of absence to go do another show.
I went to work on Next to Normal, which was very exciting, and I was the assistant to the writers for that production. And that was sort of right in the middle of my time here.
So you've been in New York, and now and working on various projects, but now what has brought you back here?
Well, what has brought me back is these 2 fantastic opportunities. My big passion is working on new musicals, so when David called to ask me to be his associate on Saving Amy, I got very, very excited. This is by far the biggest new musical that I've been involved with as on the directing side. And so it's been a joy to really watch you work and to watch the whole process of getting the show up and the changes and how it's evolved, even just over the last 3 weeks, has been thrilling. And then I get 5 days off after we open Saving Amy, and then I'm directing Cinderella, which is probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
If he's awake to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Good. You'll be hearing more from Brandon, obviously, as we get into rehearsals and previews and things for Cinderella. Anything else you want to say just about Saving Amy? Tell everybody a little bit where we are in the process and what your specific job is now. What's your task overall?
Well, my job so far in the rehearsal room has been to really sort of keep you abreast of all the changes and things that are made. We're having meetings before rehearsal and after rehearsal and during lunch breaks, and there's a ton of change that's happened to the show, so I'm keeping you up to date on everything that's happening and making sure his script is the version that we're doing that day. And now we're in tech rehearsals. Actually, today is our very first day of tech. And with that, I'll probably be dealing a lot with the ensemble and taking sort of bigger scenes or stuff into the lobby to work or down into the rehearsal room while they're continuing to tech. You'll give me some things to work on and to clean up, and I'll go and work on that.
Because we need to multitask. We've got about 4,000 things we need to do in the time that we could only get 2,000 of them done.
Exactly.
So we have to multitask and be working in multiple spaces in the building all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of what I depend on Brandon for. This has been the Musical Theater Factory. Join us next time. Thanks very much.